Good afternoon. My name is Becky and welcome once again to my practice. I'm glad you're here to practice with me. I am a teacher at Shine Yoga and also at the Kula Center, and I'm missing my students very much. I'm also missing my students at the school where I normally work, and so this practice is for all of you. When we practice yoga, we always tell our students to listen to their own body. If you are feeling discomfort, back off or take a rest. If you are feeling any kind of pain, it's probably just better to sit back and maybe choose another practice that is a little less vigorous for you. That being said, this will be a basics class. I have included a peak pose of Eagle or Garandasana. That is in honor of my school. Their mascot is the Eagles, but I will show modified versions, and you feel free to take it a little bit farther if you're comfortable with that. As always, listen to your body, enjoy your practice. It should make you feel better. And let's go ahead and have our seat and get started. Thanks so much for joining me once again. When you're practicing yoga, you may want some props, and I know you don't all have yoga props per se, like we have in a studio, but you can always use a shoe box instead of a yoga block, or maybe even two shoe boxes if you have two that are of equal size. You're just using them for a little bit of support and to bring the floor a little closer to your hands. So nothing too strenuous is going to get done with them. I pulled out today an old PT band that I've had from a previous surgery physical therapy bout, so that would work great as a strap. You might want something like this today. A tie, an old tie that's out of style would work, or even a belt would work. So I purposely did not pick a yoga strap today, just so you can see we can modify and use what we have around our house. But if you want to go get those handy before we get started, you will probably need a block and a strap for this practice. And if you like to have something to sit on, either a pillow, a towel, a yoga blanket, if you have one, that would be great. And then let's go ahead and find our comfortable seat. I'm sitting cross-legged. You may want to have one leg out, may need to sit up on your knees, whatever is most comfortable for you. We're going to come to our mat and let ourselves get a little bit centered. So once you get seated, let's go ahead and, if possible, close your eyes. If that's not really too comfortable for you, you can go ahead and just soften your gaze, maybe somewhere right in front of you on the mat, and just kind of focus on that and try to block out the things that are going around behind you. Like I said, I am not working since school is out, trying to stay in touch with my students and my colleagues. Our mascot is the eagle. And an eagle, in literature, is representative of both a protector and a symbol of salvation. And those are both things that we need right now. And so I thought it would be fitting. So as you close your eyes, start to focus on your breath. Don't try to change it, just observe, watching it move up and down your spine. And as you start to observe, you may notice that it changes. Most things do as we start to focus on them. And then as you're focusing, maybe you can try to direct it a little bit by lengthening the inhale and then bringing the exhale into alignment with that, bringing them to somewhat of a balance for this short time in our practice. Bringing the breath in at your belly and letting it travel up through your abdomen, your lungs, up towards your chest, and then back down, fully exhaling all of that air that you've used that you no longer need, making room for the new, for that air that is full of everything that you need to rejuvenate. And just continue. As you sit, notice that your hips are sinking a little bit more into the support of your mat or your blanket. With the inhale, extend the spine long, creating space between each vertebra. And then exhale on down. As you sit, begin to release tension from any joints, any muscles. Maybe lift the shoulders up, back, and down, letting them rest in a comfortable spot. And just breathing. Nice. So we're going to come to our mat as you come a little bit more into the room today. We're going to come on our backs to begin with. So I'm going to move my pillow out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and take off my cover so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And we're going to come to our back with our feet planted on the ground and our knees up towards the ceiling. And if we spread our feet wide and let our knees come together and just resting here, that's called constructive rest. And just relax for a moment here. Let yourself feel the support of the mat. Just like when the eagle is flying, it lets the air currents be its support. And sometimes when a bird is in the air, you can see them just take a ride, just like we do at Kings Island. You can just see them riding the current and having a great time with it. So take this time to just relax and enjoy. All right, so first thing we're going to do, I'm going to kind of clear our path, is work our arms a little bit. So let's take them down along our sides, palms to the floor. We're going to bring our shoulder blades together on the mat, and then we're just going to lift our arms perpendicular to the floor, bring the shoulders back onto the mat, and take our hands overhead, thumb leading the way, until you touch the floor. If you notice that your shoulder blades come apart and your shoulders kind of round up to do that, your back arches, then don't come all the way. Just take it a little bit higher, that's fine. And we're going to go back and forth about 3 times, so 2 more. Here we go. Oop, that plant's kind of right in my way. I'm going to avoid that. There we go. And one last time. And back up. And this time we're going to make a circle on the floor, kind of like you were making a snowman in the snow, or a snow angel. We're going to have the pinky side of our hand down, and we're going to take our arms out to the side, and then we're going to flip so that the thumb side is down towards the floor, and take them up and overhead. Bring that circle back down to the middle, flip and put the pinky down, and then come on back around. That helps to keep, let's keep doing that, that helps to keep the shoulders in nice alignment. Back and forth, and one last time. Flip to the thumb, take it overhead, and back down to the side. All right, now you can bring those feet right behind your hip bones. We're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest, and then we're going to extend it up
towards the ceiling. If it doesn't want to go all the way up perpendicular to the floor, you can bring it out a little bit. And then we're going to slowly lower so that our back and our torso here stay firm. It's just the leg that's moving. And then we're going to plant it back down. And let's do that 2 more times. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Extend that leg. Notice I'm flexing my foot. And then with control, my belly is engaged. I'm going to lower slowly. If I start to feel my back disengage and overarch, I'm going to stop right there and bring my foot back to the ground. So this is your practice. Modify it so that you're nourishing your body rather than doing any harm. The last thing we want is for anybody to be more sore after they do a yoga practice than when they started. All right, we're going to do the left leg now. Bring that knee in towards your chest. Extend it to the sky. Foot is flexed. And then slowly with control, take it down, heel to floor, or as close as is comfortable. Knee in, foot up, slow lower with control. Putting my hands on my belly lets me feel that my belly is not shooting out up towards the ceiling. It's slow and with control. One more time. Lower that foot back down. All right, now we're going to spread our feet wide, and I'm going to take my right knee over to the right, and my left will follow for some windshield wipers. Once again, my hand is on my belly, making sure that I'm doing it slow and steady. Left side goes first. Bring it up through center. Back over to the side. All right, now we're going to get our straps. So I'm sorry I didn't tell you to get that handy to begin with. And I think I'm going to do it this direction so that you can see what my legs are actually doing here. I'm going to put the strap, whatever you have, around my foot. I'm going to have my knees on the floor. And then I'm going to bring the right leg up towards my chest and extend that leg. As I extend it out to the side, the strap is just giving me a little bit of support and steadiness. I'm going to let the left leg come out so that I have an even angle here between my legs. I'm going to bring them together, and we're going to do this one 3 times also. No need to go as far over. Some can take their foot to the floor. Some can't go quite as far as I'm going. Just find your sweet spot where you can keep your hips even on the floor. And then coming together. I like to switch legs like this. I just bring my other foot up and then reverse sides. So I'm going to extend the left leg, taking the right over to the side. Now I could go a lot farther if I let my right hip fall off the floor and I twist over. That's not our goal here. Our goal is to keep our hips even on the floor and just open up. We're just warming up here. One more time. Opening up. And these poses are all getting us ready for our peak pose of eagle. All right, now next, I'm going to move over this way again so you can see me. We're going to do a reverse pigeon pose. So hopefully this has got a good angle for you. I have both my heels right behind my hip bones. I'm going to take my right ankle and place it just outside my left knee. Now, because this is a warm-up, I don't want to go overboard. I'm just going to gently, I'm not pressing, I'm just kind of placing my hand here so that my knee doesn't crawl forward and I can open up my hip a little better. My foot is flexed. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just gently supporting my knee so that it doesn't fall back towards me. And take a couple nice long breaths. Inhaling fully, exhaling deeply. One more in and out. And then we're just going to switch sides, real simple. So my left ankle is going to go outside my right knee. Everything's relaxed, my shoulders are down, and I'm just going to give that knee a little bit of support. I am not pushing. And I'm breathing. Good job, everybody. I want to congratulate you on coming to your mat today. It's hard sometimes to get motivated, especially when we've been cooped up, if you have, for a long time. One more breath. And we're just going to roll to the side and come on up to a seated position. All right, nice job. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you this one. Let's see, some of you might like a little support underneath. This is a bound angle pose, cobbler's pose. Baddha Konasana, it's called in Sanskrit. And we're just going to bring the soles of our feet together and let our knees lengthen out to the side. I'm not trying, once again, to push them and force them down. That would not be good. All right? So I'm just going to extend my legs. Just opening up those hips and breathing into it. All right. Then I'm going to take my right knee a little bit farther over to the right, and I'm going to bring my left knee behind my right foot and just do a little twist here. It's called a stag pose. Breathe a couple breaths. You can keep your head forward. I'm just trying not to turn my back on you too much. And then come on back to center. We're going to send the right leg out in front of us. And our left ankle is going to go either right under the knee on your shin. The foot is flexed. This is a variation of Agnistasana, fire log pose. Or you could bring that foot up above your knee if you feel comfortable with it. And this would be a good time to have your strap too. I'm going to take mine down there to encourage you to modify and not try to overdo. I'm going to put my strap around my foot, and that's going to keep me from wanting to round my back over. I want to keep my back extended as much length as possible from my tailbone all the way up through the crown of my head. And once I get all situated, I'm going to hinge at the hips, kind of like the blades of a pair of scissors. One doesn't round to meet the other. It hinges at the hip, at the joint. And I'm going to pull forward, taking my elbows back alongside my ribs. And you don't have to go too far to feel a good stretch there. One more breath, in and out. Then we're going to come up a little bit, and we're going to bring knee over knee, or as close as you can come. Some can line them up right under each other. If you go like this, that's fine too. So wherever is comfortable for you, we're going to straighten up as much length as possible between the vertebra, hinging at the hip, elbows going back, and leaning forward. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. How about you? Nice, everybody. And then we're going to come back up to seated. You may feel comfortable putting a little bit something under your knees, if you had an extra blanket or a cloak like I had. And then we're just going to come forward, take the strap around both, bend the elbows back,
hinging at the hips. Flex those toes towards your face and leaning forward. Take a deep breath, maybe go another inch or two. And then, when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your shins or to your toes and round over. Once you have all that space between your vertebrae, then it's okay to give in a little bit and round forward. Before we switch sides, we're going to, well, I think we'll wait and do this on the other side and then we'll go back to our other pose. That might make more sense. Come on back to that cobbler's pose. Remember, our heels are together, or our soles are together, and the knees are working their way out and away from us. I can grab my ankles here to extend my spine. I can take my hands back behind me if that's more comfortable and really extend. Get as tall as possible, pressing my heels together so that the knees want to go out, away from my hips. Nice. Now we're going to do that stag pose. So my left knee is going to go a little bit more to the side. My right knee is going to come out straight from my hip, and I'm going to twist just a little bit, making as long a line as I can between my hip joint and the crown of my head. Nice. Then we're going to come back and we're going to extend the left leg, and this time my right ankle is going to come either below the knee or just above the knee. I'll do it on this side, up above the knee this time. Whichever one you do, it's whatever sounds good for your body. If you get up here and this feels all right, but your knee just feels like it's hanging there a little bit, go ahead and put a block under there to give it a little bit of support. Go ahead and get your strap in position, or whatever you're using, TheraBand, and then extend the spine up, longest as you can get from tailbone to tip of crown, and then hinge at the hips, maybe shortening up on that strap, and bringing the blades of the scissors a little bit closer together. I really feel that in this hip. Not a hurtful, just a engaged sensation. All right, take a deep breath. Maybe you can go just a little bit closer, keeping that spine extended. Back off a little bit, and we're going to see how far we can bring knee over knee. Now, your hips may be totally different. One, you may be able to line them up right on top of the other, and the other one just won't go. It depends how you sit, when you cross your legs, if you cross your legs when you sit down. All those things affect this. So don't get caught up on, I did it on one side, I'm going to push myself to do it on the other. Not necessary. So I'm extending my spine. I'm thinking hinge at the hips, scissor blades coming together, really taking my crown of my head up and out, and leaning in just a little bit. So I feel engaged, a nice toning in those muscles there, but not a full torturous stretch. Nice. One more breath, in and out. And then back on up. We're going to take both legs straight here. And if you want that cushion under knees, it just keeps you from hyperextending the back of the knees. Flexing the foot will help with that, and just pay attention. You don't want those knees to go too close to the mat where you're hyperextending. All right? So I'm just going to bring my hands to my shins at first. Myself seated. Extend the spine, hands to shins, hinging forward. Deep breath, and with the exhale, maybe I go a little bit farther. One more time, maybe another half inch, and maybe I can reach down a little farther and then let myself round over. walking the hands back. And now we're going to do a half cow face pose, which sounds pretty funny. It is another one that we're going to do on our back, and I think I will put my head towards you so that you can see what my legs are doing a little bit better, and then we're going to come to hands and knees. So I'm going to come to that constructive rest pose. Feet are out a little bit, let everything neutralize. I'm going to walk my left foot into the center. I'm going to extend my right leg up towards the ceiling. I'm going to bring it over to the left a little bit and bring one knee on top of the other. Kind of like I'm sitting in a chair now. My thighs are like they're on the seat of the chair. All right? Now this can be enough. You can just lay right here and stretch those muscles. You should be getting the IT band, the glutes. Or you can take your palms, grab your chins, bring your knees a little bit more in towards your chest. That's going to be more of a stretch. Be sure you're breathing. If you hear me talking, you know I'm breathing, even though I'm not reminding you. If you can't talk through any of these poses, you're taking it a little too far. My feet are flexed. I'm going to do one more deep inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to let my feet come back to the mat, separate them wide a moment, and let them fall to center. We like to neutralize between poses, letting things come back to a nice starting point. And then we're going to take the right foot over a little bit, lift our left leg, place it on top, and either come to that nice ladylike cross-leg position where our feet are flexed, the back of our thighs are on the chair, and this is plenty, or we can bring it a little closer into our chest. Whatever leg is on top, closest to your chest, you're probably going to be feeling this on that outside hip, that IT band right there. 2 more breaths. Lower down and just roll to your side, and we're going to come up to a cat-cow position. I teach typing, keyboarding at school where I work, and I've been practicing. I've told the kids to practice at home, so I've been using the program and practicing as I am at home, and I find the key is to always come back to that home row. Always come back to your neutral alignment between poses. Get yourself oriented properly, and then your body can help you move where you want to go. You can get all confused if you try to contort, move too quickly. Really, slow and steady wins the race every time. So be kind to yourself. We're going to just come to table for a minute or so. That means our hands are extended, fingers evenly separated, as much surface area under our palm as we can get. Shoulders are over wrists, knees are under hips, and we're just going to cat-cow. Take your gaze and chest forward for a moment. Let your hips come up in the back. And then we're going to arch like a Halloween cat. And let's do a few of those. This is another good pose to neutralize your body. Get things back into proper alignment. And then what we're going to do is just come to standing. So bring one foot forward and then the other, whatever works for you. All right. This is a good place to have a block. We're going to do a little bit of a forward fold, but we're going to modify it, opening up those hips even more. This is all in prep for our eagle pose in a few minutes. So put the block down in front of you. You can have it on the highest setting for this. If you get there and you feel, oh, I could take much more stretch in my forward fold, you can always turn it on its side or get rid of it altogether. So we're going to stand in mountain pose. Think of that eagle up on top of the mountain. up on top of the tree, at the top of the mountain, all alone. Some of you may be feeling like that right now. And take a look out and just see the world around you. Strong, confident, maybe protecting others at this point by staying home, by doing your part. All right. Now we're going to take our right foot and we're going to put it in front and outside of our left foot. We're going to bend our knees slightly. It's a little hard in this position. And then we're going to hinge at the hips like we did in our other poses and bring our hands to our block. And then you can let that leg straighten up a little bit. Be sure not to hyperextend that back knee, that left knee. And if you're thinking, oh, this is pretty easy, you can lower the block down a notch. Oh, now I'm feeling that a little bit more. So just take it to where it's a nice engagement, but not stressful or painful. Let's take another breath or two here. Sometimes when we're trying to make a muscle feel comfortable so that it can stretch, it can give us full rotation, we need to give it a little time. So yes, we are holding this a little bit longer, but we want our muscles to know it's safe. We're taking care of them. We are protecting, just like the eagle. Then bring your hands up to your hips, slowly and steady. Our head was down low for a while. Let's come back to standing. Find that mountain pose. Maybe take a moment and close your eyes here. And just reflect on how things are feeling. Now we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to lift my left foot, take it in front of my right, and just in front of and outside of my right foot. I'm going to bend my knees just slightly. I can't really do it too far in this position. I'm going to hinge at the hips. I'm going to start out at that highest position because, like I said before, each side can feel completely different. Take a couple breaths there, and if I'm up for it, then I can come a little bit lower. Some of you I know can go all the way to the floor right off. I can do that too, but I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. Just like you, I've been sitting around a lot, doing a lot of work on the computer, so I don't want to overdo. I want to challenge, but not hurt. One more nice deep breath here. Slowly coming up, hands to hips, and up to standing. Oh, that was quite a bit of warm-up we did. Now we're ready to get moving just a little bit more. Get my things out of the way. I'm going to do this to the side, so hopefully you can see a little better. We're going to do 3 mini salutations. So, starting out in our mountain pose, everything is aligned, ankles under knees, knees under hips, hips under shoulders, shoulders under head. Circle sweep our arms up, bend the knees deeply, come on over into a bent knee forward fold. Then we're going to bring our hands to our shins, extend as long as possible from the tip of our tailbone all the way to the crown of our head. Come on back to the floor, bending knees as much as you need, and circle the arms up and hands back to heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Be sure that your tailbone is going towards the floor and your belly is engaged. Circle sweep up, bending the knees, coming over into a forward fold. Hands to shins, back extended, over to the forward fold, and circle sweep the arms up and overhead, hands to heart center. Circle sweep the arms up, bend the knees over to a forward fold, hands to shins,
hands to floor, circle sweep the arms up, hands to heart center. In order to fly, the eagle has to let go of its perch. Same goes for us. In order to fly, to reach our full potential, we need to let go of anything that we're clinging to, anything that's weighing us down. So I would suggest stop clinging to the things that you can't do right now, that you're missing, and accept the new normal for right now. I kind of hate that phrase too, but accept that things are different and be open, be willing to let that current carry you wherever you may go. All right, now we're going to come to the top of our mat and we'll do a few sun salutations. So we're going to circle sweep the arms up, over into a forward fold. You can have your knees as bent as you like here, or maybe you're feeling like you can start to straighten them out. We're going to take the right leg back into a nice high lunge. So right here, my ankle is right under my knee. My leg is fully extended. My back is straight from the tip of my tailbone all the way up to the crown of my head. And I'm just going to let my hips square off here a little bit. Feel like maybe I'm pulling my left hip back a little bit. My right hip might be going forward so that they're parallel to the top of my mat. I'm going to plant my hands and I'm going to come back. Whoops-a-daisy. I'm going to come back into a plank pose. I'm going to lower my knees. This is an 8-pointed staff pose. So I'm going to keep my hips up in the air. My chest is going to touch the floor, and then my chin is going to touch the floor. My belly never really will. And my elbows are going to go straight back. Coming to a small little cobra pose, maybe into an up dog, and then coming back in to a down dog. Nice upside down V. I can bend my knees, pushing my heels towards the floor. It's okay if they don't get there. Ears are between the upper arms. Then I'm going to bend my knees, look forward, and bring my foot up. So I'm in a lunge on the other side. Now, if your foot didn't quite make it, you're going to help it along. Maybe drop that back knee and bring it up, and then come into your high lunge. I'm going to go ahead and rock a little bit, and then bring that back foot to meet my front foot. Bend the knees, circle sweep up, and hands to heart center. Excuse me. And we'll do it again. Circle sweep the arms up, over into a forward fold. This time we're going to take the left foot back first, coming to that nice high lunge. We're going to plant our left hand on the floor, bring our right hand to our sacrum, and open up into a twist. Bring that right hand back down, plant both hands, coming into your plank pose. Drop the knees, lower the chest and the chin, come on through, maybe a nice low cobra, maybe an up dog, back into a down dog, and we're going to hold our down dog for a couple of breaths, getting nice and steady, gathering up our courage, our strength to take that leap. We're going to bend our knees and look forward, bring that foot up, coming to a high lunge on this side. Hips are square. We're going to leave our right hand on the ground,
Bring our left hand to our hip, to our sacrum, and then open it up into a nice big twist. Nice job, everybody. Good work. I really appreciate you motivating me today, practicing with me. Come on back down, rock it back and forth a little bit, and bring that back foot forward to a nice forward fold. And then circle sweep your arms up and back down to heart center. All right, so I'm going to come over to one side of my mat here as we begin to prep a little bit more and then go into our eagle pose, our peak pose today. So we're going to come to mountain pose. We're going to bring our arms to cactus. One of my teachers calls this bank robbery pose. And just stand here nice and steady. And we're going to take our right foot over to the right, turn our toes out, and bend our knees, coming to a goddess pose. And we can maybe stretch it out, bring it back down, stretch it out, bring it back down. I'm going to bring my hands to my hips, and I'm going to come to a high lunge. And here, my right foot is forward, so I'm going to put my left upper arm on top of or my left elbow on top of my right elbow. I can just put the back of my palms together, or I can interlace my fingers and hold this. These are eagle arms. And then I'm going to step forward, and I'm going to find myself in chair pose. So I literally have my rear end going back like I want to sit down into a chair, and I can extend my arms all the way straight, or I can bring them into that bank robbery pose. Breathing a couple breaths here, really working up some heat in those thigh muscles. And then I'm going to come up to standing. Hands back to heart center. Now we're going to do our eagle pose. And I would suggest that you get your block handy for this. We're going to do it with our right knee on top. So from our mountain pose, we're going to bring our right toes, the ball of our right foot, and just gently place it on the block. If you are a longtime yogi, or like me, eagle is one of your favorite poses, you don't need the block. But I'm going to do it through with the props because I want everybody to know it's perfectly good. Perfectly fine pose, just like this. So, my right thigh and knee are over my left knee. My toes are on the block. I'm going to squat down, kind of like in that chair pose, like I'm getting ready to seat. We once again want our left elbow on top of our right elbow. We're going to bend the elbows up towards the ceiling. Palms or back of the hands can come together, or they can intertwine one more time. And we're really squeezing. Like I said before, for the eagle to take flight, they have to gather their strength. They have to gather their courage. They have to be motivated. That takes a lot of inner strength. Really engage that core. Okay? Where your limbs are meeting, you're really pressing them together. Then you're getting ready to take off. You're going to let it go. Come into center, strength, 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 and then fly. Nice, everybody. Good work. All right, we're going to do that on the other side. So, I'm going to stand at the other end of my mat, coming to my mountain pose, picturing myself, that eagle, standing on his perch, way at the top of the mountain, the tallest tree on the mountain. I'm going to come to cactus arms. My belly is engaged. I'm not jutting forward, not arching the back. I'm going to step my left leg over into goddess pose, toes going out, bending the knees, and then we'll take it up and down a couple of times. Nice. Then I'm going to have my left foot in front for a high lunge. Getting myself steady. Then my left leg is forward. I'm going to have my right elbow on top of my left, palms or back of the hands together. Really reaching my right heel back, bending into that left knee, balancing. Then I'm going to step up into a chair pose, sitting back in the chair, extending my arms straight if I can. That's a lot harder than having them back here in cactus pose, or you could go from one to the other. Your choice. Then I'm going to come to standing. I'm going to get my block or another block, and the block is going to go outside my right foot this time. I'm going to pick my left foot up and place it on that block. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit, and then I'm going to sit back in the chair. So my legs are squeezing together. That's going to help. And then, since my left leg is on top here, my right elbow, we do opposites. It's going to be on top, right on top of left. Arms in eagle position, really reaching in for strength, perseverance, fortitude. Takes a lot of courage to make that leap, to ride the current, to go with the flow, to keep your wings flapping and your focus steady. All right, here we go, everybody. Gather it up and let it go. Fly. Good job. I love that pose. I really, really do. All right. So from here, we're going to come back to that forward fold that we did a little bit earlier, giving the outer hips a little bit of a stretch. So come to your mountain pose, grab your block, and maybe this time you can put it on the middle level, or you might find you can put it on the lowest level because we've really stretched out our muscles here. We've really given them some flexibility. So first we're going to take our right foot outside of our left. The right toes can be just a little in front of the left toes. We're going to straighten our spine, hinge at the hips, and come on over. Oh yeah, I bet you're feeling like you can really come down a lot lower. I could go all the way to the floor without any problem, but I don't want to overdo. I don't want to feel this tomorrow necessarily, so I'm going to stay here at the lower level. Breathing. Maybe you can let yourself fold down a little bit to a little more of a rounded forward fold. Coming back, hands to hips, and back up to standing. One of my favorite Sanskrit words is viveka, and it means discernment, having the wisdom to make good choices. Not asking yourself, what can I do? But what can I do that will be the best choice for me? Keep me in a healthy, firm state without doing any harm to anybody else. Can I make wise choices? And so when you're practicing, you need to remember that. Don't push. Don't let your ego make the decision. Let yourself, your true self, make a wise decision. Now we're going to take the left foot outside of the right. We're going to bend our knees just a little bit to come on down. And place our hands, taking the stretch on this side. A couple breaths here, working down in increments. And then if you feel ready, you can kind of round over and take your nose a little closer to your knees. Not necessary at all.
This is kind of a balance pose too. We're getting that in with our eagle pose and our stretch forward. And then slowly, your head's been down for a while, working our way up, slow and steady. Now, I hurt my knee the other day, so I'm going to have us come down into a nice squat. If you are comfortable with Malasana, feel free to go into that. You can keep your feet wide and toes straight forward. You could open the toes out a little bit, so long as your knees are going to track in the same direction. Malasana would be taking your rear end all the way down to the floor, a squat. I'm going to come, or a deep knee bend. I'm going to come midway here. So you can see long extension, tail to crown of head. Knees are supported. I'm really building up some heat right here. And I'm just making a wise choice here to not go all the way down. One more breath. And coming on up. Nice. All right. We are going to come down to our table pose and then cat-cow. A little bit more to come into a neutral position. So spreading those fingers out. And just relax there with everything lined up for a moment. Not exerting. And then a little bit of cat-cow, and maybe if it would feel good, you could do a little clean out the peanut butter jar. I'm moving my torso around in a circle. Make sure you do it in both directions. Maybe make a figure 8 with your hips or with your torso. Just anything that would feel good right now. But then we'll come back to that symmetrical, arching cat-cow. Nice, everybody. All right, so we're going to come to seated for a moment. So if you would like, you can go ahead and get your blanket and sit down there. And we're going to do a couple of seated twists. So pay attention right now to which leg is in front. My left is in front right now. I'm going to take my right hand behind me, kind of like a kickstand, and then my left hand is going to come over to my right knee, and I'm just going to turn and look behind me for a little gentle twist. That should feel pretty good. Coming back to center, maybe a little arching right here, little cat-cow in between positions. I'm going to bring my right hand to my left knee, left hand behind me, and a little twist here. Come on back to center. We're going to switch the cross of our legs. Right hand behind me, left hand on right knee, little twist. Coming back to center, over and around. Coming back to center. Good job, everybody. All right, now we'll try that forward fold again. So put your knees out straight, and maybe you can go straight to the toes, maybe not. Maybe just underneath your calves is good. Extending that spine and coming a little farther forward. Good job, everybody. We're going to roll around, and first thing we're going to do is come to our stomach just for a moment or two, and we're going to come to a Sphinx pose first. Just getting in a little bit of a back bend here. So my forearms are parallel to each other,
Elbows are right under my shoulders, hands are splayed out evenly, and I'm taking my tailbone down towards my heels and extending the crown of my head. My neck is long, just giving a little gentle back bend. One more breath here. And then you're going to take your arms out in front of you, spidey hands, so like you had a cupcake under your hand and you don't want to smash it. And we're just going to let our forehead come to the ground. And we've got the eagle-eye view of the world. Showing great humility. All right. I'm going to walk my knees in, and we're going to make our way to our back once again. Have your block handy. And I'm going to suggest just a supported bridge pose. So I'm going to have my heels behind my hip bones. I'm going to lift up my torso and just slide the block underneath my sacrum. It should be right on that triangular bone, my sacrum. I'm going to bring my shoulder blades together on my back. Hands can rest on your belly or down to the side. If you want to do a couple dynamic bridge poses from here, lifting the hips off the block, bringing the chest towards the chin, feel free, but I'm just going to let myself relax here. We can do that. Let ourselves relax. Couple nice breaths. I mentioned the new normal. There's been a quote going around on Facebook. When we're in a hurry to get back to normal, let's take this time and examine what is really worthy of coming back into our routine and what can we just let go of to make room for new adventures. Maybe some of you have found a new talent, something you didn't know you could do, like record a yoga class on YouTube. And maybe you want to explore and take that a little bit further. We sometimes need to let go of something in order to make room for the new. So maybe take some of this time that we're at home, alone, in solitude like the eagle, to examine and evaluate. All right, that's a nice time on our block. Let's gently lift up, take that out. Come back to feet wide as the mat, knees together, letting things neutralize. And then we're going to take your right knee all the way over to the right, left knee will follow. Couple of windshield wipers either way. Nice, nice and gentle, massaging the back, getting ready for our resting pose, Shavasana. I'm going to let you go all the way back into your final relaxation pose as I come up to seated. As you're laying there, go ahead and let your ankles splay open. Feet are a little bit wider than the hips. Shoulders are relaxing onto the mat. Palms are turned up towards the sky. And maybe just picture yourself floating on a current of air. Nothing to do, just enjoying the ride. Make sure you're breathing gently. Inhaling from deep down in the belly, letting it travel all the way up along the spine, through your heart center, up to your chest, and then back down again, riding the current, riding the wind.
totally relaxed. The air is holding you up. Breathing and letting go. Breathing and letting go. Gently coming back to your body. It is said that when a storm is coming, all other birds seek shelter. The eagle alone avoids the storm by flying above it. So in the storm of life, may your heart soar like an eagle. Gently bringing some movement back to your body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, circling the ankles and the wrists, rolling to one side or the other, and pushing yourself up to a seated position. Bringing our hands to heart center. Once again, may you soar like an eagle. The light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks for joining me again, guys.